Hi, this is Coach Sandy, and it is July. Last week I talked about looking at this month as a new beginning, the second half of the year, new beginning. And I talked about seeing things that were right in front of our face. I mentioned that I've been struggling with wanting to make my videos feel more personal, and sometimes my glasses catch a glare, and I was figuring out all the ways that I might be able to adjust the camera and the lighting and the ring light and the yippity and all that. And then it came down to being just as easy as I think I'll go and see if I can wear contacts so that I can see what I'm doing, what I'm talking about. Did you just see my little friend jump in the chair behind me? That's Riley. I'm dog sitting. So Riley and I are going to go out for a walk in a minute. And one of the things that changes when you're taking care of a dog, when you have a dog, is it makes you move more. And moving is also another thing that's right in front of our face. So whether it's a yoga class, whether it's a walk, whether it's walking a pet, whether it's just setting your timer on your Fitbit or whatever to remind you to get out of the chair, stand up and stretch. All these things are little new beginnings, little new things that we can implement in our life. But I thought I'd share with you something that took me down a bit of a memory lane and also brought me to thinking about things in a new and different way. I was extremely fortunate to be able to spend a week with my daughter and my husband and my daughter's two kids. Now, because of our restrictions, we haven't been able to see them. I haven't seen them in a year. My husband hadn't seen them in two. And as we were with my eldest granddaughter, who's 14, about to be 14, and she's going through a lot of transition, a lot of change. And since I'm a coach for transition and change, you'd think that these things would be a piece of cake for me to deal with. But I watched the interaction between she and her mother, and it brought me back to something I had completely forgotten about, but that is a life lesson. And maybe I'll share this with you and encourage you to think about what little thing have you forgotten about that may not be such a little thing, that really is a life lesson and that might help you to understand yourself better today, or might let you have more compassion for a friend or maybe a grandchild or a child. And I remember back when I was probably about 14, my mother and I were not really getting along all that superbly. And she thought that I had an attitude, which actually is part of the reason that I named my business Wellness with Attitude, because I probably did have an attitude. And I probably still do have an attitude. I've tried to make sure that it's a positive attitude and that I bring good and love and kindness. But I don't think she was feeling that. I was bringing those things back when I was 14. And so my grandmother lived upstairs from us, and my grandmother was my most favorite person in the world. And actually, after my divorce, I took my grandmother's name. So the name Warren is really my grandmother's name. And so my grandmother suggested to my mother that I might move upstairs with her. And my mother probably wanted to be rid of me. So she said she thought that was a great idea. But I needed to come for supper every night. That was in the olden days when families had meals together. And so I was required to be there at dinner time. I really believe that part of that was not because they needed my presence, but because I washed the dishes. So whatever reason and however it unfolds, I had to laugh because now I'm looking at my daughter and my granddaughter, and they're working out how to be in their own space, how to both have their own independence and their own opinions, and how to do the things they like to do and maybe not so much the things that they don't like to do. And I bet you can relate to this one way or another, whether it's with a child or a friend or a spouse or whatever it is. So why don't you think back, maybe give yourself a little chuckle over a memory that you have, let it perk up, take the lesson from that memory, and see how you can apply it. I've offered my granddaughter to talk with me once a week and see if I can't be a little bit of a sounding board for her, but also kind of a collaborator for her, a little bit of support. And sometimes that's exactly what a coach is. And I hope that you have somebody that you can turn to. If not, perhaps it's time for you to think about a coach. So here's a little call to action. If I can be of service, go ahead and check out some of the things that I've posted prior on my Thoughtful Thursdays. See if they resonate with you. Reach out and see if you and I should have a little chit chat. Maybe you'll be a candidate for one of the sessions that I'll be beginning in September. Have a great day. Thanks for dropping in. This is Coach Sandy navigating the curves of life.